Jeffrey Epstein. This has been talk of the town for at least a week now. The House Democrats, they're causing a storm now. They're trying to force these procedural votes, trying to force Republicans to respond, I guess. What is your stance? Would you like to see more transparency around the files?
100%. I've been given awards for transparency when I was in the legislature. But you got to ask yourself, why the Democrats not done anything in the last 4 years when they could have? And if Trump was on those lists, you know that thing would have been released first day. The reality is that I think there's a caveat with all that. Things like manifests on airplanes. Rich people, hey, I'm flying to New York, and hey, a buddy of mine's going too, my plane's down, why don't we hitch a ride with him? Then your name's on that. It doesn't necessarily mean they're a pedophile. They probably didn't even know that dirtbag. But on the other end, we've said there's a list, it's on Pam Bondi's desk, and all of a sudden it doesn't exist. I think she's been ill-advised, and I stand with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I think they're patriots, and I think we need to quit playing around with this thing. I think God's going to have his judgment on us if we're not careful. I sponsored some of the toughest laws in the country when I was in the state legislature, and honestly, they were probably vaguely unconstitutional, but they were told that. But the new, I passed a bill on death penalty for child molesters, chemical castration, on down the line, and a lot of states do all that now, and Tennessee does. In fact, it's they've got different courts and different positions, but so I would literally want to hang them publicly, and I would have no qualms about it. And they're dirtbags, but we've got to address this thing. America's ticked off about it, but I think President Trump gets it. His daughter-in-law said this morning that they were fixing to release some, and I think Trump just put something out on Truth Social how they were going to start releasing stuff. But I think we need to be careful. Then you have a caveat. Just because they investigated it doesn't mean it's the truth. And we better make sure, because if some innocent person's on one of those planes, not going to the island, but going, here or there, then I think we need to be real careful about that.
Well, for the sake of transparency, there have been rumors about Ghislaine Maxwell potentially testifying before Congress, and the Speaker just recently, earlier today, he said that he would be in favor of saying something like that. Is that something that you'd be interested in?
100%. But I'd like to hear what her attorneys say. I don't know if that's something the Democrats have said or she said. I haven't heard her spokespersons or any person, but heck yeah, get her up here. Let's talk.
The Epstein drama, this saga. The House Democrats, most recently, they're really pushing for transparency around the Epstein files right now. They had this procedural vote yesterday that ended up failing. But would you be in favor of additional transparency surrounding the Epstein files?
I've always supported transparency. If there was a vote on the floor to release the Epstein files, I would vote for that. The American people obviously want that. And what the Democrats did is they tried to procedurally put a non-related motion related to that on a crypto bill. So obviously the Democrats have made political an issue that wasn't political, providing the United States as being a leader in crypto. There's not been an actual vote on the floor of releasing those files. It's the admin's decision. Ultimately, it's not Congress's decision to make that. And I assume because of the many statements that Bondi's made that they're eventually going to do that, but if we were to vote on that, I would absolutely support releasing that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you clarifying that procedural vote because...
it had nothing to do with, the Democrats have thrown that in because they see that that's a hot button issue that's dividing Republicans right now on a bill that was completely unrelated. So now you're having to talk about an issue that was unrelated to the business of the House this week.
Yeah, and in a similar vein, the Speaker just said that he would be in favor of seeing Ghislaine Maxwell testify before Congress. There kind of this rumored appearance that she might come before one of the committees. Would you be interested in seeing her testify?
No, I think that'd be beneficial to show the transparency of both the administration and Congress on the issue.
Would you be willing to see more transparency, or what are your thoughts?
100%. I'm going to fight for more transparency and fight for these documents to be released. I think it's unacceptable. The American people they feel highly disappointed. They feel like they've been betrayed, and this issue isn't going to go away. And I think that sunlight is a great sanitizer. Until the truth comes out, people are going to speculate and think the worst. And at the end of the day, it's really fundamentally a question of, does the government own you, or do you own the government? And I think the system was established that it was, established by the people. The government belongs to the people, not the other way around. And that's why I think that they deserve, the public who's demanding this release. We work for them, and we ought to do it.
Epstein has been like the big news item for at least a week now, and you've seen House Democrats kind of causing, drumming up a storm about this issue, and they're trying to force these votes, these procedural votes. Where do you stand on the issue? Are you hoping to see more transparency around the Epstein files? I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I always want transparency, and I want justice also, because people that are criminals or violate women, they're just going to become emboldened if they think that they can get away with it. But I'm also not privy to the inside information, if there's a list, where there's a list, so I can't comment on that. But absolutely, always we go for transparency, and the Democrats are the biggest hypocrites ever.
They did just see a clip of the speaker saying that he was interested in seeing Ghislaine Maxwell testify before Congress, and there are sort of rumors surrounding her potential testimony. Is that something that you'd be interested in?
I'm not. I'm a little bit neutral on it, but I don't trust her character. Why would we trust her character? I think it'd be interesting.
Would you be in favor of seeing more transparency on the issue? I guess, where do you stand on that?
Well, I think it's pretty rich. For 4 years, they're in power, and they like, no, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Suddenly, they lose power, and they want to do all these things. They failed to do something on Epstein before. They also failed to cut middle-class taxes when they had the trifecta back in 21 and 22. I'm, of course, for more transparency. I think if they close the book on it, I think we should put that information out publicly. I think that makes common sense.
The speaker just said I think maybe an hour ago or so, earlier today, he said that he would like to see Ghislaine Maxwell testify before Congress. And there's been rumors of this, potential testimony, which I'm sure would draw a lot of attention. Would you like to see this testimony?
I'm happy to see that. Again, transparency is the way that we disinfect Washington, D.C., put all those numbers out there, get these folks around. Because, look, I've been out of office for a while of my own choice. And when I chose to get back into politics, we want to have a more fruitful discussion like we're having here today. And let the cards fall as they wait when you put things out in the public. And so whether it be that lady testifying, who's currently in jail, as you know, are putting out information, is always a good thing to restore the trust.
Are you in favor of this additional push for transparency, even though it is a bit convenient, the timing? What are your thoughts on this whole?
Well, I do think it's important that there is transparency with this. Now, again, I have a lot of faith in President Trump. I have a lot of faith in Attorney General Pam Bondi, and I believe that they are taking this seriously. I think they're looking at it. I take what they tell me at face value and what's been reported. I do think that they're going to have to find some way to report things that I know that they don't want to release. I mean, these tapes that came out talked about being child pornography, and they're not going to release that. And I think that's wise. You don't want to release child pornography. But folks that are identifiable in these, there needs to be some recognition of that, and some people need to be prosecuted.
Yeah, I think a lot of Americans feel that this whole thing was mishandled. And to your point, I don't think anyone's advocating for those sort of materials to be made public. But would you be in favor to see the rest of that? I think a lot of Americans felt that they were promised to see the actual, files. And so I think a lot of people are still waiting for that. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think the more information that we can put out there for transparency's sake, I think is a win. Listen, President Trump has been the most transparent president that we have seen in my lifetime. You look at even now, here in these first few weeks or first few months of his administration, how many times do we ever remember being invited into the cabinet room and media from wall to wall, able to ask questions, not only of the president, but talk to individual secretaries? That's impressive. And the American people have confidence in Donald Trump.
Would you be interested to see her come before Congress?
I would be. I think you would have to sort of try to peel back the layers of the onion and understand. I don't know what kind of witness that she's going to be and how reliable even what she's going to tell you is, if it's going to involve cutting a deal or something like that. I don't know. But I would, no question, the information she would have and the insights that she would have would be very valuable and interesting for the American people to hear.
Are you kind of in favor of seeing more transparency around these files? What's your take?
Absolutely. No, I do think because of all the notoriety and the attention that the Epstein files and the Epstein story has received, we have got to build trust with the American people, with the American government. And if we as American people feel like the government is hiding information that is protecting somebody powerful, maybe, we need the full story. I think that's better. That's how you build trust between government and its people. And so I think that whatever the Justice Department, whatever the FBI, whatever the president needs to do to push for that, because right now it feels like all of a sudden we all knew there was more information there, and all of a sudden it's like, well, it's not. It's where to go, and so there could be the plane manifest, could be given to the American people who all flew on the plane. There's the black book that could be told to the American people. If somebody's going to be embarrassed by it, that's their own fault, and it doesn't matter. I don't believe it matters who it is, because if they were involved with a person like him, then there should be consequences. And so, I understand protecting victims, but I don't think that's the case in this situation. I think that somebody's probably trying to protect somebody powerful more than just really being honest with the American people.